Do you like me?
Just like me.
Like Me TV Fresno on Facebook. Get the latest news, interact with others, watch videos, become a fan of me. Exclusively brought to you by Ventura TV.
Hello, I'm John Malos, and welcome to Connect with Me on this Friday morning from the showroom floor at Ventura TV. Today on the program, we have Doug Vagim. He is the Vice Chair of the Oversight Board here in the city of Fresno. He'll be talking about all sorts of things, the SPCA, the Fresno Police Union, the mayor. Hey, we'll be talking about Tony Vang, who's on the school board. Is there a recall against him? Yes, there is. Your phone calls are important. 265-4331, area code 559.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.
There's so many things to talk about this morning here on Connect with Me in terms of the Oversight Board. First of all, when the Oversight Board was formed, when they came together, all these various parties from the county and from the city, they had to decide what was going to happen to $155 million. Now they're down to $47 million because they fulfilled some of those contracts. Well, we've got Doug Vagim on board here today. He's the Vice Chair of the Oversight Board. Remember the old redevelopment agencies? There's Doug right there. Well, the Oversight Board has taken over for the old redevelopment agency projects, and it's their job to decide what to do with these millions and millions of dollars. So let me ask you, why can't they take some of this money and fill the gaps in the city debt? The city's in debt by what, $4 or $5 million, whatever it might be for this coming fiscal year. We'll ask him about that. We'll talk about the SPCA. They're down to 2 sites as to where to possibly put it, and I say possibly with a capital P. We're also going to talk about Tony Vang. He is the school board member that is much maligned at this point. There's a recall going on against him. We'll talk about Mayor Ashley Swearingen, who has yet to respond to our request as to whether or not she wants to come on this program, but the invitation is out there if she's watching or listening. Further, we're going to talk about the police unions, the fire department maybe, and the garbage. They're up for renegotiations right now. Last Friday, we had that topic right here on the table. We talked about Fresno City garbage and the possibility of privatizing. We had one for and one against. Doug Vagim on the Oversight Board has a lot of opinions. Your phone calls at area code 559-265-4331. It's a Friday. Aren't you glad? The weekend is upon us. Back in a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified #1 rated high efficiency Cabrio from Whirlpool Place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Whirlpool Cabrio laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
And welcome back. Doug Vagim is our guest today here on Connect with Me. He's the Vice Chair of the Oversight Board in the city of Fresno. Doug, good to have you back.
Thanks, John.
Yeah,
good
your
to
second
be here.
appearance here.
Second
on Connect
appearance,
with Me.
old timer.
Yeah, you're not. Hey, you're a veteran now,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Oh, what can I say? Let's get right to it.
Sure.
Let's talk about the SPCA. There's so much discussion about that. The city and the county, they combine, they pay the SPCA, what, $3 million a year?
Combined, yes.
Combined. And
Yeah.
what's the SPCA's job specifically? What are they supposed to do?
Well, first of all, the SPCA is a private, its own entity, a nonprofit public corporation.
It's a 501c3.
Right. And the city and county, under the health and safety codes of the state of California, or any public entity that is its own body, like the cities and the county, have a responsibility, a mandate by the state of California that they must have animal control. It's their mandate.
What does animal control mean? What is that,
well,
specifically?
If you have a leash law and there's a dog off the leash, you go, or there's a stray animal that is not your animal and you need somebody to help you. It might be vicious, it might be rabid.
A pit bull, yeah, who knows?
Any animal, and or a lost pooch or cat, one that has perhaps tags on it, but no one knows who it belongs to. Who's going to be the depository?
So it's their job to go out and investigate.
Well, it's a mandate to you can't allow a animal that it potentially can be passing off disease or biting people out and roaming around the streets. That's what state law says.
Okay. And it's their job to pick up that animal.
Well, it's their mandate to have to do that. And then they contract with an entity. They decided years and years and years ago, and it was a real good process where SPCA and the county and the city all bundle up in one bucket to say, look, let's just do it under one roof. And we'll go out and do that. We'll have an adoption center. We'll have a clinic. We'll have everything. We'll collect your animals for you. We'll make the decisions whether or not they need to be put down or not. And that's been going on for decades.
All right. So now you have this big problem. The city and the county have to decide, and they've gone down to 2 sites now. One is going to be the old morgue. The other is going to be the old city corporation yard, the depot over by 99 and Highway 180. So they're down to 2 sites because the SPCA is going to opt out, right, at the end of December. Is that true?
Well, they were pushed to opt out, basically, because they had policies that the city, mainly the city, and then the county jumped in with them to say, we don't like your policies for the end of how you, when you pick an animal off the street, you have policies once you bring that animal into your place that may not be conducive to what we think the policies ought to be. What is that policy?
Well, they were putting animals down.
That was euthanasia, right. And they're saying they have the highest per capita animal collection in the state of California.
Right. But the city and the county, they were outraged. And many of the people in the public, they were outraged.
Oh, absolutely.
At how many animals were actually being euthanized.
Sure. And, well, particularly in the face of the fact that a lot of the adopting volunteer groups were saying they couldn't even get animals out of there when they were trying to save some of those animals. Those are a lot of stories now, and that needs to be weighed. And one of the things I'm concerned about is that there was a knee-jerk reaction.
Right.
And they rushed out to dismantle this thing. On the other side, the SPCA decided that they were not going to put up with these folks telling us what to do.
Well, and the city and the county decided we're not going to put up with you either.
Yeah, everybody just kind of did a meltdown.
Yeah.
And frankly, I think there's been lack of leadership, to be all honest.
From who and where?
All parties. All
City?
parties. City, county, all parties.
And the SPCA.
SPCA, yeah. They've been running on a knee-jerk reaction.
Have they been negligent, the SPCA, and should they be held accountable?
Well, when you say held accountable, they've been doing their job, and they've been doing it under state law, and state law, matter of fact, had even changed because of the state recognized that these are big problems. When you have animals, they were required to hold them up to 3 days. Now the state law changed that they could hold them for only 24 hours and put them down. I disagree with that policy, by the way. I'm a big adoption fan. But
once the SPCA is out of this completely, okay, they're talking about housing these animals in 2 different sites. One of them is the old morgue, the parking lot of the old morgue. We've got some video. Let's roll that videotape there, Arthur, and take a look at what we're talking about here because, well, actually, it's not a videotape. We actually have a still photo of it. Okay. And it's not a pretty sight, and there it is right there. There it is right there. And what do you think of this site?
Well, I'm familiar with that site. It is the old morgue, and it's very inadequate for the facility.
But they're not going to go inside the morgue; they'll be out in the parking lot.
But the fact of it is that the amount of money that they're going to have to build and put what they call a humane environment for animals that are picked up is going to be so costly because they just cannot.
Well, what's wrong with this site? Why are you against it? Why is this not a good place?
One, it's too small. It's got a big vacant lot right next to the building.
Right.
The building it really is not conducive to do anything inside. The only thing you could use is the morgue for a medical examination. Perhaps the morgue rooms possibly could be used for that. But then they're still going to have a process to move those animals. They're going to have a process and keep those animals in enclosure out of the inclement weather. I mean, if the weather starts raining hard and that kind of stuff, they're going to have a roof over it. How are they going to do all that? I don't think they've got a lot of this figured out yet. They're walking through this on a day-by-day, hour-by-hour basis. And when they get to that point, they're going to be starting to throw money at it like you cannot believe. And I think it's a big mistake.
What about the old Corporation Equipment Depot yard there, 99 and 180? That's a second possibility for a site.
Okay, if they're talking about the one that's west of 99.
The one west of 99.
Yeah, okay, and that's got some vacant land, but there's really inadequate. They're going to have to build something. They're going to have to put shelter
Which
there.
is going to cost money.
Lots of money.
How much?
Probably millions. I just want to round it off to say millions.
In the city and the county, they got millions just lying around.
They don't have the money. And the fact of it is,
I'm being facetious.
I know you are. And they've spent a lot of the money that they have spent with the SPCA has gone into buildings, into housing. SPCA has taken that money that they've been able to use for animal collection services and take some of it to put it into adoption centers, through marrying it up with people who want to contribute to the SPC, and amalgamating that money into a better bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Just because they have some recalcitrant board members on there doesn't mean you ought to do a meltdown community-wide. And frankly, I don't understand it, John.
What a mess.
What a mess.
What an absolute mess. I can't believe none of you out there have an opinion about this. The phone lines are open. Doug Vagim is our guest. He's the vice chair of the Oversight Board in the city of Fresno. What are your thoughts? Hey, call us. The number should be on your screen, area code 559-265-4331. Back in a moment.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new, fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want.
This Amana Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is now just $6.99, and this heavy-duty Maytag Super Capacity Washer Dryer Pair is only $8.99.
Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
And we're back with Doug Vagim, Vice Chair of the Oversight Board in the City of Fresno. We're talking about the SPCA and your phone calls. Just call in. We've got Open Line Friday here, and it's open, right? Okay, 559-265-4331. Getting back to the SPCA just for a minute. Now, you read in the paper, of course, last weekend, Jerry Dyer, the police chief of City of Fresno, wanting to take over the duties of picking up some of these animals. What do you think of that?
Well, I didn't think he said he wanted it. I think he said he would do it because he's duty bound to do what his community asks him to do.
But number one, I got two questions. Is that the police department's job? And number two, can they handle it?
Well, when in fact they say they are overwhelmed with service calls for police services, for human police services, now they say they have enough time to do dog and cat collection and other animal collection. I doubt if that's true that they can handle it.
So do you think Dyer kind of spoke out of turn or jumped the gun?
Well, I think Dyer is trying to respond as a good city employee, that he will respond to whatever he's asked to do, and he will ask his rank and file to stand up and do the duties that the community is asking him to do. Whether it can be done adequately, whether it can be done inexpensively is a whole nother question.
All right, phone call coming in. Good morning. You're on Connect with me with Doug Vagim. What's your question specifically? I hope you got your sound turned down on the TV.
Yeah, it's muted.
Go ahead. Quickly, what's your question? Quickly.
I was thinking a possibility for animal control, a location. Couldn't they use a part of the old UMC?
Well, that's a building. The grounds are still being used by human services, social services, and health services are still using that. There's mental health services still out there. I don't know how dogs and cats and other things would be a good mix.
Where's that located, by the way?
The old VMCs, is that what he said? Yeah, that's at Ventura and Cedar Avenue.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that would be a tough mix. The hospital is an empty shell right now, but there's still services being delivered out there, county services being delivered on that campus.
Okay.
And it'd be very difficult to try to marry those two up.
All right. Any other comments or questions? Or does that pretty much do it for you?
That'll pretty much do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for the call. And so that brings up a good question. Are there any other alternative sites that you can think of that would be adequate at this point?
Well, there's land around where matter of fact, the old SPCA is currently located that is empty. Part of the old, what they call it was called the Roding Business Park.
Yeah.
all north of 180.
Oh yeah.
A lot of empty land, and that's all adjacent to the SPCA.
You still got to build something.
You got to build
money.
some. Oh yeah, and I'm telling you, that's the biggest mistake they could be making.
All
Okay.
right. Another phone call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your specific question?
I don't have a specific question. I was just wanting to say that the thought of losing the SPCA is crazy.
Why do you say that, ma'am?
Well, I think they do a wonderful job. And by the way, to ask the police department to come pick up dogs is crazy, because my dog was attacked by a pit bull, and I called the police department. They said they don't have the time. They couldn't do anything about it. That I need to call the SPCA.
Yeah, but aren't you outraged at, like some people might be at this point, at some of the euthanasia that the SPCA has been involved with?
There's millions of dogs that people just don't, animals aren't being taken care of. At least it's, of course I don't want to see them put down, but what are you going to do with all these unwanted dogs and cats? And
Well, I don't disagree. The fact of it is I believe the SPCA has a policy and a big heart that they don't just arbitrarily want to put a lot of animals down. They don't. They just get overwhelmed. But the fact of it is there is a question that there are volunteer groups out there that have volunteered to take and shelter those animals. And the question is, why weren't they released to those folks? And I guess one of the answers that I hear back is the SPCA says, well, we can't just do that because we're still responsible for the animal. And if we hand them over to you and something happens, we have a liability, without doing a full-blown adoption. They didn't want to do a full-blown adoption on these animals. They just wanted to take custody of them.
So you think the SPCA is doing a fine job?
Look, they've been doing a fine job, but there's things that need to be tweaked, no doubt about it. Like,
so
we need to get
the city and the county jumped the gun by saying, hey,
yes,
get out.
Yes, and I agree with the caller. The fact of it is we need to get a hold of why we're putting so many animals down, and I think it can be tweaked. But the fact of it is they jumped the gun, egos got in the way, and chest pounding took place over problem solving, and that's where we are today.
But that's part of the problem, is that egos get in the way of everything. We got another phone call. Let's take it here and see what this one's about. All righty, good morning. You're on Connect with Me. What's your question about the SPCA?
On the several building sites, sir?
Yeah.
Right now, there's that old Marigold Ballroom over there by Roding Park, I believe. And there's so many buildings downtown. I don't see why. Gee, many crickets. Half that downtown area is vacant.
Yeah.
And that's not even counting, the west side, all that industrial place out there. Every time I go downtown, sir, gee, many crickets. I see nothing but empty buildings, and they're huge buildings.
Well, and you're right, sir. And if that's the case, if you went downtown, Doug, you wouldn't have to build a facility because the facility's already there. All you'd have to do is maybe clean it up or spruce it up.
Well, yes and no. You can find empty buildings, you can find empty space, but the fact of it is this is a whole different use than you and I want to live in. And if we want to put an office in there one day, that's an amount of work that you're going to have to do to retrofit that after you've had it as an animal shelter. And once it's become an animal shelter, it has a tinge to it that no other party without complete tear down and rebuild is going to probably want to come back in there and put an office in there.
Yeah.
So it's going to take years to wear off the tinge of that being an animal shelter.
Stench is what you're saying.
Well, that's like the stench, just the mindset that and the fact of it is they've already got animal shelter. It's called the SPCA. They need to sit down with the SPCA. Matter of fact,
isn't it too late?
They've changed leadership.
It's too late.
They've changed
the.
I think the exec director has been replaced with someone else now, and so I think they have a whole different attitude. And I think they're hoping that better minds can come together.
Is it too late though to do that?
I don't think so. I really don't.
The city and the county would be looking. They'd give off the appearance as if they're begging on their hands and knees.
No, I don't think so. I think maybe other parties ought to come in now because I think the egos are too there, and I think the city and all the parties ought to just stand down and allow other parties to come in and negotiate and help them work out the problems. And I think it can be done.
Unbelievable. I'm glad you're here today. Doug Vagim, the Vice Chair of the Oversight Board, well-respected man around town and around this county. We have another call that's coming in, but we're got to take a break. So if you can hang on, we'll take that call on the other side of the break. But first, we got to stop and do the Connect with Me Daily Deal. We'll be back with that and much more in a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the go big, thin as in, flats where it's at place. The HD 3D web-enabled electronics and TV place. You following me?
LG's 50-inch flat panel TV is great for sports, and the 600Hz subfield driving virtually eliminates motion blur. Get it now for just $5.99.
At the big screen surround sound, no more $12 popcorn place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
Howdy, I'm John Malos, and I'm here to tell you all about me. MeTV, that is. When nothing else matters but boots and chaps and cowboy hats, MeTV is where you ought to be. From the Cartwrights on the Ponderosa to Marshall Dillon keeping peace in Dodge, MeTV is your station for Western hits like Bonanza and Gunsmoke, the Big Valley, Branded, Rawhide, the Wild Wild West, and more. So dust off your boots and saddle up and visit MeTVFresno.com to learn how to get MeTV for free.
Is taking care of laundry taking too much of your time? Have you become a missing mom? With a new fast, efficient washer and dryer from Ventura TV Video Appliance, you'll spend more of your day the way you want. Save now on Frigidaire's Advanced Affinity Laundry Pair. Let Frigidaire save you energy, water, and time. Don't spend your life on laundry. Upgrade today at Ventura TV Video Appliance and save.
Back on the showroom floor at Ventura TV, I'm Lauren here with your Connect With Me Daily Deal for MeTV viewers. The Daily Deal is this 21 cubic foot top freezer refrigerator by Frigidaire. This may look like your normal freezer from the outside, but don't let its appearance fool you. It has a lot of great features, starting with its extremely low operating costs. This fridge is Energy Star qualified, and it is going to cost you only $43 to operate for the entire year. This means that you're going to be spending no more than $4 a month. It also has a full width freezer shelf, so you can optimize your storage space for all of your frozen goods. It also has spill-safe shelves. This means that if you happen to spill a liquid or if something in your fridge leaks, it's not going to drip down to the rest of the fridge. It is contained in that one shelf, and you only have to clean that one shelf. It also has two crisper drawers with humidity controls, and this concept is similar to when you're at the grocery store and you see your fruits and vegetables in the produce section being sprayed with water to keep them fresher longer. For your fruits with skins, such as an apple, you're going to put it on a low humidity, and for your leafy greens or your more delicate fruits and vegetables, you'll put it at a higher humidity to prolong the life of your produce. The regular price of this unit is $849, but Ventura TV's everyday low price is $649. But for your Connect With Me daily deal price, we're selling this unit for $599. That's a $250 savings. Best Buy and Sears have this unit for $799, but they are out of stock. So come into Ventura TV where you can pick up your freezer, refrigerator, or anything else today and take it home with you. This is your Connect With Me daily deal, good through tomorrow at noon.
All right, Lauren Boot-Hillier, good job, and certainly a good deal here at Ventura TV. Day in and day out, 6 days a week we're open, Monday through Saturday. Back with more of Doug Vagim and your phone calls on the SPCA in just a moment.
Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're the save energy, save time, save money place. The Energy Star qualified, ready, steam-equipped, high-efficiency Frigidaire Affinity place. You heard right. Right now, save big on select Frigidaire laundry pairs and pay no interest when paid in full within 6 months. At the hometown low price, think outside the big box place. Since 1951, Ventura TV Appliance Center. We're working hard to be your place.
From now on, when I sneeze, I'll try to sneeze more friendly.
And we're back with Doug Vagim of the Oversight Board here in the city of Fresno, and a caller has been waiting for a long time, so we're going to take it right off the bat here. Good morning, you're on Connect with Me, talking to Doug Vagim. What's your question? Is it about the SPCA?
Yes, I'm newly moved down here from San Francisco, and I'm not privy to every bit and detail of the problem, but I'd like to ask, has anyone asked other communities whose programs are working in an outstanding fashion, maybe not perfect, but instead of trying to reinvent the wheel in Fresno, what kind of outreach has been done to other communities that are working well? And I'll take an answer off the air. Thank you.
Thank you for your call. What do you think, Doug?
Well, I know they've examined some other, and I don't know for everything they've done because I'm not privy to everything that's happening, except for as much as I tried to catch up with everything. Other communities have done what other callers have, what the caller has alluded to, a lot more cohesive operation with adoption centers.
Okay.
And some of them have actually adopted, gone to a policy of no-kill centers. Our SPCA is not that. They are a put-down center. They say they have no other choice but to do that, and that's where the rub is, because we do have volunteer organizations that want to save those animals. The problem is, in some of those communities, like the caller says she's from the Bay Area, the fact that other communities up there have done much of that, but they're very, very expensive, and the economics here are just different. Yeah. We don't have the economic oomph, so to speak, to be able to carry out that. We have to be a little bit more adaptive to what we have, a little more creative, and I think there are answers there.
All right, another phone call. Good morning. You're on Connect with Me. Your question.
Ask Mr. Vagim is why can't they buy that building, that shelter's there now, or lease it? Is there any reason, or who owns it? And the next question is property donated to the animal shelter. Is it worth, if someone donated property, is that worth building on it if it's locally in Fresno?
Well, there is a gentleman who has donated land and they're building a adoption or another SPCA concept out in Clovis. It's a fairly good size. It's not just a little shack. It's a brand new big facility they're building in Clovis, out about Temperance Avenue alignment, south of Herndon. And that same gentleman has offered to work with the locals here in Fresno to try to do the same thing, to try to find some land and donate some land and that kind of thing. The fact of it is, we have something already.
But it's not only donating the land. You need a building.
You need the building. You need the facilities. You need the staff. You need the protocol.
Have air conditioning. You got to have. I mean, the whole.
You need veterinarian staff. You need everything. It's like recreating a hospital just because you don't want to go to that other hospital.
Millions of dollars.
Millions of dollars. It's very expensive. I think we have in place something that could actually be better than what we had if cooler minds come to bear, and we sit down and we talk about the real problems. I know there are real problems that come to loggerheads, but now some of the players have changed. Some of the players have left the SPCA. I think cooler minds can prevail here.
Could I get a yes or no answer? I've got like 15 seconds. Can the Oversight Board hand over some of those millions of dollars they had? They got $47 million to the city to close the gap in the budget, in the debt.
Well, just a couple of months ago, because of our work, they wrote an $811,000 check back to the taxing agencies. The city of Fresno got $250,000 of that.
All right, Doug, we're out of time, and we're back on Monday. Thank you. Come back again. We'll talk about everything else we didn't cover today. See you Monday. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, John.
Tonight I want to discuss the importance of the television medium to the American people.